Previously on the Traveling Together Journal, we met up with some new friends and explored the coast of El Salvador together. We found some fun ways and were having a good time until Amy and I both managed to hurt ourselves, resulting in a trip to the clinic and a week of rest around camp to mend our wounds.
We are just leaving El Salvador and headed to Honduras today. We had really intended to actually go through Honduras. We didn't want to do the normal, just drive through it in one day and do all the borders. We weren't like that terrified of the country, and we know lots of people who've had a great time, but we're really just skipping it because all we wanted to do was hiking, and neither one of us are really in shape to be doing hiking due to our recent injuries. So we're moving on, and we're gonna go meet up with our friends Warwick and Ivana in Nicaragua. And I just locked myself out of my car. This happens every time. I haven't gotten used to the fact that my door handle is non-operational. We have got to find a door handle in Nicaragua.
As we approached the border area, we began to see the usual line of commercial trucks waiting to cross, and as usual, being a non-commercial vehicle, we got to drive around them and continue on. This particular border crossing has a reputation for aggressive touts, helpers, or fixers. Whatever you want to call them, they can be seen here in their blue polo shirts. These men are trying to flag us down to offer their services as guides through the border process for a price.
Look at this guy. He's like yelling at us through the car. Anyways.
Generally, we don't like to use them, and so we carry on. Soon the large commercial trucks are left behind as they split off to their own facility, and we continue to wind our way along the El Salvadorian side of the border until we find this building that contains the Immigration and Customs offices. We found parking and began the process of checking ourselves and the truck out of El Salvador, which we accomplished easily at the service windows, and were quickly back on our way for about 30 feet before meeting up with this gentleman who checked to see that we had the proper stamps and paperwork to leave El Salvador. Once satisfied, he allowed us to cross the bridge over the frontera to the Honduras side of the border, where this customs agent asked for our passports, driver's license, vehicle title, and registration, and then led us to the Honduras Customs and Immigration building. We started off by checking the truck in with customs, or aduana.
My role in this whole thing is always pretty easy. We kept it simple at the borders and just put Matt's name on the truck, so he's the sole owner. And that just makes it so that only one person has to go through the process of registering the car for each country.
The customs agent processed our vehicle in a timely fashion and filled out the paperwork, then sent us off to make copies of the forms. We found a nearby store with a copy machine, got our copies made, and returned to the customs office. But this is where we hit a little snag.
This guy was actually handling our paperwork pretty fairly. He was letting some of the helper guys like cut in front, but it still happened pretty fast. So then he asked for the money, and he was just gonna like let us go. And then we were like, well, can we have a receipt? And then he's like, yeah, but it's gonna take like 30 minutes. So he's like doing some work, no other helpers come, he's doing some work, we're just standing there, and then he locks the window and he just went to have a smoke break. I've heard of this kind of shenanigans. They pretty much are just jerking you around and making you suffer for not paying any extra bribes. And the thing is in our book it says we actually need like 3 copies of the receipt, so I don't know what would have happened if we would have just like believed him and not walked away with a receipt.
So we took our passports over to the other side of the building and checked in with Honduras Immigration while the customs agent had a smoke. Eventually we got our receipt and were on our way, shortly arriving at the final checkpoint before leaving the border zone into Honduras. These agents checked to see that we had the proper stamps in our passports and paperwork for the vehicle, including the receipt that we had waited around for, and the paperwork for the dog. Oh wait, we forgot about the dog. Without a dog, we would have been sent on our way into Honduras, but instead, we were sent back to find and obtain import paperwork for their furry travel friend. We eventually found the green building we had been directed to by heading back towards the commercial truck crossing. And after waiting in line for a little while, we were told that they no longer handle pets and that we needed to go to the blue and white building across the street. Here we found these guys, who somehow scored the only office with good air conditioning at the border. They filled out our paperwork and sent us back out into the heat. The fellas at the final checkpoint liked what we had this time and allowed us to enter Honduras.
We did it! We got through! Yay! Oh my gosh. So a lot of people would do this and then they would drive a couple hours across the country and they would do one more border crossing. And there's been rumors that the Nicaraguan border crossing is also very frustrating. Some people blaze through it and it's totally fine, but other people have really bad experience. So I couldn't imagine doing both of those in one day. So
well, we got a late start today too, so we didn't get to this border crossing until noon.
Yeah, and so, it is now
2 hours and 15 minutes later.
That's
not bad.
It's not bad, really.
But it makes it so it's too late in the day for us to try to drive all the way across Honduras and then do another border crossing and try to get to a safe place to sleep.
In Nicaragua, yeah. Like we could do it, but then we would just be, who knows where we'd be trying to sleep. So we're gonna play it safe and stay at probably a pretty expensive hotel. I was looking at iOverlander and I got a hold of our friends' work in Ivana and asked them where they stayed, and it pretty much looks like they're all gonna be about $20 to $30. So whatevs, that's how it goes.
Yep.
Into, I think this is the most expensive room we've gotten on the entire trip. But I looked at all the other reviews and when we were passing other hotels, they all looked pretty nice actually. And our buddies said they stayed here and were able to talk these guys down. And so, but it's actually pretty nice. It's so, if you are gonna spend more than you've ever spent, at least we have the nicest room we've maybe ever spent. Ooh, let's check out the bathroom. Wow, that's definitely one of the nicer, well done bathrooms we've stayed.
That's horribly disappointing.
That is really disappointing. We ordered the fajitas.
This is something else that they call fajitas, apparently.
I guess when you're at the burrito place, you should just order burritos.
That'll learn you.
How is it? On a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest.
It's a 5.
Oh, alright. Alright, that was a really disappointing dinner, and I realize you can hardly see me, but the best part of dinner though was definitely as we were like getting up to pay, these two little Honduran girls came up and started talking to us in the most amazing English.
We are twins.
Twins?
Yeah.
You're not twins.
Yeah, I look like my mom and she's like my dad.
How old are you?
11.
What is your favorite thing to do?
Sleep.
Sleep? You love to sleep?
I like to sleep too.
Yeah, he's always tired. He loves to sleep. Alright, well, mucho gusto.
Yeah, same.
And they were so cute. So that was definitely a highlight of the evening. A lot of people ask, like, how do you budget? How do you do this? And typically we're always just trying to do some of the cheaper options. I mean, we enjoy most of the things that we do, even when we do choose these cheaper options, and then you just kind of get used to your options that are within your budget. But then you have days like today where you have to spend a lot of money on a room, a very nice room, I will say. You end up going to dinner, costs a lot of money. Basically today's been really expensive, and I don't know, at some point you just say, you know, these are gonna be the costs. This is what it's gonna cost today, this is what it's gonna cost to be in this place, this is what it's gonna cost to do this tour. But it's either something A, you really, really wanna do, or B, something you have to do. For us today, it's about something we had to do. And when those days happen, you just say like, I'm not gonna like stress out about budget today. I'll make it up on another day. I'll make it up when I'm at a super cushy, comfy camping spot and we won't go eat out. We'll cook our own food because we're comfortable and it's easy. So that's kind of how we play the balances of days like this. Anything to add, Matt? You weren't even listening, huh? Good morning, guys. We are just packing up, leaving the hotel here in Honduras and heading for the Nicaragua border. Tigger, are you ready to go? You ready to go? Yeah? And he's off.
Once again, lines of commercial trucks mark the approach to the border zone and we drive around them, finding our way to the large yellow building containing the Honduras Immigration and Customs offices. We arrived to find no lines and quickly checked ourselves and the truck out of Honduras.
We got there at like the perfect time. We were just rolled right up, but right after that, like tons of people got in line after us. And then it was really easy to cancel the vehicle permit. It took like a second. That was the easiest we've had yet. Jagger, good job watching the car.
We continued on to the next official who checked our passports and paperwork for the vehicle and for the dog before letting us leave Honduras. We crossed the bridge from Honduras to Nicaragua over the river that creates the frontera and showed our passports again before being directed to the vehicle fumigation area.
No bugs for us. Can you get the inside?
Seeing that the fumigation area was right next to the office for importing pets known as the Puesta de Cuarentena, and the offices for immigration and customs weren't far away, we decided to try splitting up for the first time in hopes of accomplishing things more quickly. Amy began with getting our dog sorted out. At this border, that meant getting a form from the official at the Puesto de Cuarentena, then going to the bank to pay a fee. Then returning to the Puesto de Cuarentena with the receipt of payment to receive the official stamp. Meanwhile, I checked myself into Nicaragua with the immigration office. This involved two fees, one of $10 and one of 60 Nicaraguan Cordoba. I don't know why they insisted on the two different currencies, but they were doing it to everyone. Fortunately, there was an ATM with both currencies, so after waiting in line with the rest of the unprepared, I returned to the immigration office and got my stamp. Next up was checking the truck in through customs, where we found a little bit of a complication.
So basically I just walked out and Matt was talking to an official guy and he was scanning our truck and basically didn't like that we have 5 surfboards. You're only allowed to have 4, he's trying to say. So he said he's gonna go in and ask permission to see if we can have 5. So another guy came out and we went and talked to him, and I think he was being cool because he realized that there are 2 people. So we explained to him we have surfboards for different types of surf and that we bought them in the States. They're not brand new. I think they're just really worried about people importing boards and then obviously like trying to sell them or just not buying boards in Nicaragua because surfing's such a huge industry now. It's probably a pretty big problem. I mean, I know if we owned a business, we'd probably be trying to bring down as many surfboards as we could every time we did a drive.
With that sorted, we were all stamped into the country and drove on to the final checkpoint. The officials here checked our passport stamps and vehicle paperwork, then waved us on. Before leaving the kiosk, I asked where the vehicle insurance office was and was informed that it was all the way back at the fumigation area. So we had to backtrack to take care of that. Turns out these ladies with the folding table next to the road are the Nicaraguan Vehicle Insurance Office. It was a bit of a hassle to wind our way back through the border zone, but it would have been way worse if we had forgotten to get insurance altogether. Nicaragua is full of police checkpoints that regularly ask for proof of insurance.
¿Está bien? ¿Sí? Okay, gracias.
Our new friends at the last checkpoint waved us through, and we were finally in Nicaragua.
In Chinandega, and we are going to endeavor to get a Claro SIM card for the phone. Hopefully it goes a little bit better than our Guatemala experience.
At least we don't have to take a boat to this phone store.
Getting that phone plan was way easier than our Tico plan in Guatemala.
Next item on the to-do list was getting Amy's ankle x-rayed. She hurt it pretty bad in El Salvador and may have re-injured it while walking around the border crossings, so she wanted to make sure she didn't break it. Alright, we're waiting for the results from Amy's x-ray, which so far has cost us $8 US.
I was so crazy. I went to the bathroom when he paid that, and I was afraid to ask him how much it was going to be, and he's like, it's $8.
There you go. We're waiting for the results. The doctor took a look at the x-rays and at Amy's ankle and assured her it wasn't broken. He told her to just keep it wrapped up and to take it easy.
Like it?
Yeah. With that, we were on our way through Leon, where we stocked up on a few provisions.
Once again, our amazing water filter and little mini hose and free water in a parking lot of a grocery store.
From there, it was down to Las Penitas, a happening beach town on Nicaragua's Pacific coast.
Alright, we're in Las Penitas, Nicaragua, which is a beach town. It's a very popular, busy beach town. It is Sunday, so...
Hustle and bustle around here.
Yeah. What's your first impression about this place, Matt?
It's not really my scene. It's really a popular area. There's a lot of backpackers and stuff staying at... There's like a ton of hostels and little like kind of, I guess, cheaper hotels and stuff that we've seen. And there's also a bunch of little like gift shoppy kind of places, tons of like bar, restaurant sort of things. Lots of local tourism as well. But
I pretty much, it's like the perfect place when you're a young backpacker and you're all about wanting to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's probably really easy to get to from Leon, which is really easy to get to Leon. So Las Penitas is definitely going to be popular because of how easy it is to get to. But
we have our own car. We don't need easy to get to.
It's true. That's why we drove this
time. And I'm a grumpy old man, so I just want to get away from all the people.
Yeah, it's pretty epic when you find your own beach and there's just not a bunch of people there, and that's why we drive. So when we roll up into these places that are like highly recommended by tons of people, we normally have this like, most of the time we have this, let's move on.
Yeah, this is the kind of place that a guidebook would tell you to, like, it's a must go on the Nicaraguan beach list.
Yeah, and I think that it would be really, be a lot of fun if you're young, so you can go in backpacking, totally. And it's cute. I mean, when I was younger, this would be a dream spot to land. I would stay here for probably a week. Until I met enough friends who said, oh, let's go to this other spot. And then you like tag along to the next spot.
So yeah, speaking of friends, we're gonna try to meet up with them tomorrow, hopefully. And we're gonna go to a different beach that, from what I can gather from satellite images on Google Earth, hopefully we'll be able to get there, and it's probably gonna require some four-wheel drive and driving down a bunch of dead-end roads and stuff before we figure it out. Next time on the Traveling Together Journal, we meet up with our travel buddies in León and head out on some most excellent Nicaraguan adventures. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed seeing what it was like for us to deal with some of those less fun aspects of international overland travel. Please leave a comment down below to let us know what you thought, and make sure you subscribe because we got lots of cool Nicaragua adventures coming up.